The Domino Effect: 10 Ways a Global Trade War Could Upend the World. The intricate web of international commerce has become the bedrock of modern prosperity, fostering interdependence and driving economic growth across the globe. However, this interconnectedness also creates vulnerabilities. The imposition of widespread tariffs, retaliatory measures, and the unraveling of established trade agreements, the hallmarks of a global trade war, could trigger a cascade of negative consequences, impacting everything from the prices consumers pay to the geopolitical stability of nations. Understanding the potential ramifications of such a conflict is crucial in navigating an increasingly protectionist world. 1. Soaring consumer prices and reduced purchasing power. At the most immediate level, a global trade war translates to higher prices for consumers. When tariffs are imposed on imported goods, these costs are often passed down to businesses and ultimately to the individuals purchasing those products. From electronics and clothing to food and automobiles, the cost of everyday necessities and discretionary items would likely increase. This surge in prices erodes purchasing power, meaning households can buy less with the same amount of money, leading to a decline in living standards and potentially fueling inflation across the board. 2. Disrupted global supply chains and production bottlenecks. Modern manufacturing relies on complex and finely tuned global supply chains, with components and raw materials often sourced from multiple countries. A trade war throws a wrench into this system by imposing tariffs and creating uncertainty. Businesses face higher costs for imported inputs, potentially leading to production delays, factory shutdowns, and an inability to meet consumer demand efficiently. The need to reconfigure supply chains, find alternative suppliers, and navigate new trade barriers adds further costs and inefficiencies, ultimately hindering global production and economic output. 3. Decreased international trade and economic slowdown. The fundamental purpose of tariffs and trade barriers is to reduce imports and protect domestic industries. However, in a global trade war, these measures are applied reciprocally, leading to a significant decrease in the overall volume of international trade. As countries erect barriers to each other's goods and services, export opportunities diminish, businesses face reduced demand, and economic activity slows down. This contraction in trade can have a particularly severe impact on export-dependent economies and can contribute to a global economic slowdown or even recession. Measures. 4. Reduced business investment and increased uncertainty. The climate of uncertainty created by a global trade war can significantly dampen business investment. Companies become hesitant to make long-term capital expenditures when the future of trade relationships and market access is unclear. The risk of escalating tariffs, unpredictable policy changes, and disrupted supply chains makes it difficult for businesses to plan and forecast effectively. This decline in investment further hinders economic growth and innovation as companies postpone expansion plans, research and development, and the adoption of new technologies. 5. Job losses in export-oriented sectors. When countries impose tariffs on imports, the industries in the exporting nations that produce those goods often suffer. Reduced demand from foreign markets can lead to decreased production, business closures, and ultimately job losses, particularly in sectors heavily reliant on exports. While the intended effect of tariffs is to protect domestic jobs, the retaliatory nature of a global trade war can lead to a net loss of jobs across various sectors as international trade contracts. 6. Heightened geopolitical tensions and damaged international relations. Trade is not just an economic activity, it is also intertwined with international relations. A global trade war characterized by aggressive protectionist measures and retaliatory actions can significantly strain diplomatic ties between nations. The breakdown of trust and cooperation in the economic sphere can spill over into other areas of international relations, potentially exacerbating existing geopolitical tensions and making it more difficult to address global challenges such as climate change, security threats, and pandemics. 7. Currency fluctuations and financial market volatility. Trade wars can trigger significant volatility in financial markets and lead to fluctuations in currency exchange rates. Increased uncertainty and concerns about economic growth can cause investors to become risk-averse, leading to sell-offs in equity markets and a flight to safe haven assets. Tariffs and trade imbalances can also put pressure on exchange rates, potentially leading to currency devaluations or appreciations that can further disrupt trade flows and create financial instability. 8. Impact on developing nations and global inequality. Developing nations, often heavily reliant on exports to developed economies, are particularly vulnerable to the negative impacts of a global trade war. Increased trade barriers can limit their access to key markets, hinder their economic diversification efforts, and impede their progress towards sustainable development. This can exacerbate existing global inequalities and potentially lead to increased poverty and instability in these regions. 9. Erosion of the rules-based international trading system. The post-World War II era saw the establishment of a rules-based international trading system, underpinned by institutions like the World Trade Organization, aimed at promoting free trade and resolving trade disputes peacefully. A global trade war, with its widespread use of unilateral tariffs and retaliatory measures, undermines this system, eroding the principles of multilateralism and the predictability of international trade relations. This weakening of the global trade architecture could have long-lasting negative consequences for international cooperation and economic stability. 10. Innovation, disincentives, and reduced technological transfer. Protectionist measures enacted during a trade war can inadvertently stifle innovation and reduce the diffusion of new technologies. When domestic industries are shielded from foreign competition through tariffs, there is less pressure to innovate and improve efficiency. Furthermore, trade barriers can hinder the cross-border flow of knowledge, ideas, and technologies, which are crucial drivers of economic progress. This can lead to slower technological advancements and reduced long-term competitiveness for all nations involved. In conclusion, the potential impact of a global trade war extends far beyond simple balance sheets and import-export figures. It represents a systemic shock to the global economy and international relations, with the potential to trigger higher prices, disrupt supply chains, slow economic growth, increase unemployment, and heighten geopolitical tensions. Understanding these far-reaching consequences underscores the importance of avoiding such destructive conflicts and prioritizing international cooperation and dialogue to address trade imbalances and promote a stable and prosperous global economic order.